People rarely like to talk about common sense. They like to appeal to common sense as a justification or a rejection of certain behaviour. Common sense often comes up in politics. Regular conservatives in particular seem to like talking about common sense, something they typically believe the out-of-touch urbanites who control the government are lacking. Today I want to talk about the two forms of common sense. I think one form is perfectly valid and fine, while the other is basically worthless. These two forms are intuition and basic logical reasoning. Many hold a view of common sense which is undeniably just intuitionism. It is a common sense issue when something is intuitively right or wrong. Intuition is of course what we label it when someone holds a certain viewpoint instinctively, with no conscious reasoning. This is dumb because it is conscious reasoning that allows us to rationally examine ideas and their validity. Intuitionism is at odds with reason, and can lead you to support or condemn literally anything. Once it was intuitive fact that slavery is fine. Now it is intuitive fact that slavery is wrong. Intuition can justify literally anything. Once it was an intuitive fact that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Now it is intuitive fact that they should be allowed to vote. Once it was intuitive fact that segregation is fine. Now it is intuitive fact that segregation is wrong. And I could go on. Intuition can lead to any conceivable conclusion, and is completely irrational. The intuitive form of common sense is very stupid. Then there is the second form of common sense. Basic logical reasoning. An example of this could be something as simple as, don't touch the iron because the iron is hot, and hot things hurt. Or something isn't working, so you check all the things it needs in order to work to find out why it doesn't work. This is very basic logical reasoning, and it can be and often is called common sense. This form of common sense is obviously fine. It is actually useful. It is a helpful and rational form of common sense which improves our lives. Intuitionist common sense can lead to any position imaginable. Rational common sense leads to certain conclusions which it is useful to arrive at because they aid our well-being in some way. Intuitionist common sense is stupid and completely worthless. Rational common sense is very useful and a good thing. When people talk about common sense, the validity of their claims will frequently come down to whether they are talking about intuitive common sense or the basic logical reasoning form of rational common sense. It is this difference which divides common sense into categories of good and bad. Whether or not there is some nuance between these forms of common sense, I will leave you to decide. Leave your thoughts in the comments.